Hello, it's Joanne Fedler here, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about my new book that is coming out in February 2015 called Love in the Time of Contempt, Consolations for Parents of Teenagers. Now, this is a book which is part memoir. I don't really like the term self-help, but it certainly is a book that is about consoling parents who are going through a hard time with their teenagers. We feel as if we've become redundant. We feel like we're losing control. We feel like our kids have outgrown us. We've lost our footing with our teenagers, and it's about really learning how do we manage this time in our lives when our kids are trying to grow up, and how do we now parent them in this new age when the ways in which they need us are changing. So I have a couple of ideas about how to do this, and I guess the main idea behind this book is that in order to help your kids to grow into adults, you have to be an adult first. Now, the fact is that a lot of us get by as parents when our kids are small, just bumbling along, being the people we were when we were younger. We may never have looked at our own issues. You then end up having kids and you parent them in a way that may or may not be very conscious, but they're little and you're bigger than them and you can control them. You decide how their lives should be lived. But there comes a certain point in time, and it's at that interesting teenage time when that no longer works, and the parenting techniques that we have used, which often have just been inherited from our families of origin, just don't work anymore. And that's when we can start to go through a bit of a crisis of identity, because the old ways aren't working anymore. So some of the things that I suggest in my book are that it's really important for us to be grown-ups, as we need to be adults in order to help our kids become adults. And the way to do that is to make sure that you as a person are differentiated. In other words, you need to know what your shit is and to separate your shit from your kids' shit, and not to let there become a big mixture of stuff going on between the two of you. Know who you are and allow them to learn who they are. The other way that we can be really strong in ourselves is to be non-reactive, because teenagers are so good. They are masters of manipulation. They will find every single button to press, and if our buttons are pressable, we are going to be triggered. So to learn to be not so reactive when our kids try to make us react to things, not to take everything personally. That's also a sign of being emotionally intelligent, being in your skin, in your bones, knowing who you are as a person, and allowing your kids to see you as a person. Not to be manipulative, not to be a bully. A lot of parents can be very bullying at this age. Do as I say. We've got to start changing that way of relating to our kids. But at the same time, not to be a pushover. It's really important for our kids to know where those boundaries are, and to know that we are solid, that they can't just push us and we will fall over. And another important thing is, as a parent, not to be a psycho or a mean bastard or an asshole. If you want your kids to respect you, you have to be somebody that your kids can respect. So it's really important to make sure that you are integrated as a person, and you know who you are, and you are a reasonable and clear person in your values and what you stand for in the world, so that they can then formulate who they are in the world and decide who they want to be in the world. Those are just some of the thoughts that I've put into my book. It's called Love in the Time of Contempt, Consolations for Parents of Teenagers, and it will be released in February 2015 by Hardie-Grant, and I will send you more information as the book becomes available.